So this is a spot that I have created for myself to work in. I've had the basic setup for a really long time, but like I said, I wanted to personalize it a little bit better. And so I've made a few changes, and I'll just walk you through some of the changes. I know, I mean, when I look at this space, I feel as if it's very cluttered, but at the same time, I wanted to be surrounded with all the things that I loved. So that's kind of the point of this room, is to just have an abundance of things that make me smile. And this definitely does the trick. So one of the first things I did was to add this table, which I have found is a really nice feature to have down here because it gives my girls somewhere to like sit down and grab a chair when they know that I'm down here working. So then we can chat, or sometimes they'll come down with their own project. So I'm really liking the addition of this table here. I don't know, it's just, as a mother of older children, you cherish every single little moment that your kids want to hang out with you. So this kind of, gives them a little something for them to easily grab a chair, sit down, and have a chat with me. So I love that aspect of it. Plus, it also gives me a little bit of extra workspace if I need it. So the table itself is actually a hand-me-down from my parents. It was the table that we had in our kitchen when I was a young kid, and parents gave it a coat of white paint. It was up in my kitchen until I found my farmhouse table for years and years. So it's been around, used as a few different things here and there, but I thought it would be a great place to have it down here. It can be used as a game table. I have sat down here and also tried to put a puzzle together, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a nice thing to have down here. And while I'm not doing any projects on it, I thought I could use it to display some of my favorite vintage tablecloths. So this one I have on here today is this red, blue, and white number, which I absolutely love. I think it is so, so pretty. And then in the middle there, I have this huge wood circle, which I found at the thrift store. I have yet to do anything with it. I figure I'm going to probably turn it into a cutting board because you know how much I love those cutting boards. But for now, I'm just kind of using it as a little tray. And I've got some photos of the girls on it, which I can easily pick up the whole thing and move it out of the way if we need to use this space for something. The close up of that tablecloth. Oh, isn't it so pretty? I absolutely love this. I actually found this at a garage sale. The lady said she had never used it. It was still in its package. And she's like, oh, I always wanted to use it, just never did. So, yeah, I've used it a few times myself, but most of the time it just sits in the closet. So I thought this was a fun way to get it out and to use it and add a little pop of color to this area. So we have the workstation itself, which is actually a thrift store find. There's a steel desk and then a steel credenza, and I put them together back to back to give myself this nice big space to work with. And then I've got tons of storage underneath, which is awesome. So I recently added this little cutting board in the middle with this cute little tiered tray. The tray itself I found at the thrift store, as well as this cutting board that I have it sitting on as sort of a little tray. And basically what I wanted to do with this was just to add little bits of things that make me smile. The tray itself absolutely makes me smile. I love the top. It is a Chromex tray from probably the 60s, 50s or 60s, and I am obsessed with these trays. I have another slightly larger one upstairs next to my computer on my desk in my kitchen, and it holds like my office supplies and stuff. I've had this one in my stash to resell for a really long time, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to use it. So as you can see, I just added a few things. This little thing right here is just a little little wood piece that I found. I think I had Junk Bonanza. I want like little bins or something. And then this is a sweet little playing deck of cards that's a friend of mine sent me years ago. And I just used one of the cards. I think it's so cute. It's got the little Scotty dogs on them. Then I added this little rosebud, which has just kind of been sitting on my desk since like Valentine's Day. And it's like all alone. It has no friends. So I thought I'd throw that in there. And then this little bell is something that my daughter picked up at the thrift store years and years ago. It doesn't have a ringer anymore, but it's cute, so I added that as well. Then down on the bottom, you'll probably remember this from Valentine's Day. I made this little corsage thing, so I added that in there. And then I have this adorable little baby book. Oh my goodness, I love this thing so much. It's like actually a little baby dictionary. English to Spanish and Spanish to English dictionary, which I think is so fun. Plus, I just love its petite size. So he's in there. And then I have this picture right here. I love black and white pictures, and this one is of a mountain scene. I actually found like this, I'll show you later, but I found this whole pack of like souvenir photos that are all this shape of like the Great Divide and the areas around that. And this is one of the pictures from it. And this is probably like my favorite one. I'm trying to read it. It's so tiny. I cannot even read it. But anyways, it's some mountain. So I just threw that in there because I like that picture so much and I wanted to be able to see it. So I just have it turned around so it's at my vantage point when I'm down here. I can see all my little fun stuff. And then off to the side here is where I keep all of my supplies. I've got a toolbox. And then I've got this wooden crate, and I just fill it up with all of the stuff that I need. In this first box, it's like small, like kid scissors and like decorative edged scissors. In this jar here is the, what do you call it? Paintbrushes that my daughters can use so they don't use my good paintbrushes. And then I also have a jar full of colored pencils. And then this is actually something that my girls gave me because they didn't want it anymore. It's dual-tipped markers. There's a fine liner and the brush end. And I think these are so fun. I've been doing a little bit of like coloring pages lately. And these would be kind of fun to have on hand for when I do those. And then I've got some, what do you call these? Little rollers. Foam rollers back in there. Some measuring devices over there. And then levels. I got this little brayer, which I found at the thrift store. I thought it was really cool, so I just kind of tucked him in here. Then I have a tin full of screwdrivers and wrenches because, you know, a girl's got to have her tools handy at all times. Then I've got some Gorilla Glue in this one, my wall stud finder, my measuring tapes, and my drill bits. So that's kind of like, you know, my little tool area. And then in the area I've got this little tiny little space in between the crate and the toolbox, and that's where I keep my paper towel and my Windex because I'm always seeming to have to clean something. And then this little guy is actually a cell phone or iPad holder, so I use that to hold my phone while I sit down here and watch old movies and work on projects. It's really nice. Before we get into what I have in the toolbox, I wanted to show you that I did put a few things up here in the windowsill as well. This little horse thing is my daughter's. It has been sitting here for years, and it's kind of become my thing that symbolizes her. I had been dusting at one point, and I broke off her tail when it was probably like 5-6 years ago. I kept the tail for a really long time. I probably have it somewhere stashed right now in a safe place, which I cannot find. But for now, she just sits here and kind of reminds me of my daughter. I also have this photo holder, which I'll show you closer up in a minute. And then I also have this bookend that my friend Jamie from Border Bananas gave me, and I absolutely love it. It is so cool. It's an eagle, and it says 1776 on it, and I think it is so cool. So until I use it for my 4th of July decor, I have it sitting down here so I can think of her every time I see it because I just love it so much. So let me move this down here where the sun's not going to be in the way, and I'll show you what I've got on it. This is like one of those little card holders or whatever I found at the thrift store years and years ago, and I very rarely use it. I think I've maybe used it twice. So I'm like, you know what, this would be a really good time to use this. So I decided I would put some of my old black and white pictures and like just little things that I love that I have picked up over the years. This photo right here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very well, but it's a picture of the Great Divide. And then this one here is another photo of some mountain scenes that I got in that one packet that I talked about earlier of like a souvenir packet of, you know, the mountains and stuff. So I thought those were really cool. I picked up this picture at Junk Bonanza because I loved the what do you call it? The farmhouse. I thought that was really cool. This right here is a souvenir picture of Mount Rushmore. It's really tiny. I know it's hard to see, but there's some people in the foreground, and then in the background is actually Mount Rushmore, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. This one I thought was really cool. I also found this at the Junk Bonanza. It's just of an old church, and I think it's very cool. It kind of reminds me of the church that I went to when I was growing up. You know, like a medium-sized church, nothing big and fancy. And then this picture I fell in love with. Also, I picked up at the same time as these other ones. And I picked this one up because I love the cars sitting out front. I think they're so cool. I'm thinking they're like 1940s, maybe 1950s cars. I'm really not sure. The building itself is really cool too. And then, of course, I added in these little birds. Little bird cards as well. They're like, I don't know, I guess you'd call them like bird trading cards. They've got the name on the front of the bird, and then on the back it kind of gives you a description of the bird itself. And then I have one lone milk, I don't know what they call these things, milk tabs? I don't know. They used to go on the top of the milk cans or milk bottles. So I just thought I'd throw that in there as well. So anyways, I thought this was a fun way to display some of the things that I like that are small, you know, and I kind of easily get lost. So I decided that would be fun up there. Alright, so that brings us over to my handy dandy toolbox. I just have it propped open onto the wall, and inside I've filled it up with a whole bunch of jars, and each of my jars hold a different sort of thing. These hold my scissors, and then I've got one for paint brushes, one for writing utensils. This one has like, what do you call these things? Wire cutters and my paint scraper. This one has a putty knife, like needle nose pliers, that sort of thing. I have another thing of paintbrushes over here, which I have a lot of paintbrushes. And then I have my stir sticks and paintbrushes for like bigger projects. Then I have another one down here that has glue sticks in it, my paint can opener, and then, what do you call these? What are these called? I cannot remember right now. Anyways, I use them to stir up paint with. And then I've got some more foam brushes there. So that's basically it. And then off to the side over here, I've got an extra little thing. I got this for Christmas. Some more paint brushes, which are super nice. I love these. And then I have a jar, which when I'm painting, I'll fill up with water so I can clean off my brush. And then I just have some random paints that I use quite a bit. This is my primer. This is a pale gray color, a black, and then a pale, or you know, like a creamy white color. So those are kind of like my go-to colors. So I just kind of leave them sitting out right here. So moving towards the end of the desk, I have this little shelf, which I found at the thrift store a while back, at the end of my desk. And it's a handy spot to hold some things. Right now I have it holding my fabulous vintage sewing machine, which I love so much. Down here on the bottom shelf is just a few little trinket things that I want to keep for like shadow boxes and stuff like that. The other side is like drop cloths. Next to the shelf here is my portable ironing board, which I made. I just have that propped up there so I can easily grab it if I need it. And then off to the other side is a bin full of stuff that are current projects that I want to work on. So I just kind of keep them in there until I get a chance to get to them. And then behind here is my cutting mat for fabric if I need it. On top of the shelf, I've added a few things that make me smile. The first one being this adorable lamp. I found it when I was out antiquing with Jamie and Nicole. I absolutely fell in love with it, and I knew right away that I wanted to put it down here in my craft area. I just think it's adorable. I also love hotel bells, so I have that, and then of course a clock, because you know how much I'm obsessed with clocks. I have this little succulent, which is very cute, in like this little glass ashtray slash coaster. And then I also have this right here from 1959. It's one of those little desk calendars. I just think it's super cool. This one is from Baltimore, Maryland's engraving company. I just thought that was really neat, so I kind of put that there. It's a little nostalgic item. So that brings me to the wall behind my desk, which is a smorgasbord of everything that I absolutely love. There's no rhyme or reason to anything. None of the colors are meant to match. It's just supposed to be anything and everything that makes me smile and I wanted to use. I basically just kind of threw up here on this wall. And I am loving the results. So I'm just going to kind of go through, I think we'll go through the shelves first over here on the wall. And then we'll get into the bookcase over here in a little bit. Alright, so we'll start on the shelves right here. The shelves themselves I made years and years ago. They used to be for up in my living room, but I've since moved them down here, and I love them down here to be able to display things. First thing first is a lovely lantern because it's been sitting there for years and I just kind of keep it there. I like the lantern, and then I got this little galvanized R. So I recently made this shadow box to remind me of my brother, because when he was little he had a cowboy themed bedroom, and his name is Andy. So a Cowboy Andy book is what I found at the thrift store, and I thought it was absolutely perfect for a little, walk down memory lane for myself. Let me see if I can get a close-up for you. So I took 2 pages from the book and just kind of, cut them out, removed the storyline of the book, and just used the graphic. And then I used the title page, Cowboy Andy, on the top. And on the bottom I had a lovely subscriber send me the 2 fence pieces, and then someone else sent me this little cowboy, which I think is so cool. And I think the whole thing together is really fun, and I love it a lot. Moving on down the shelf, I recently found this adorable little bear planter, which I think is so cute. It's so adorable. I love it so much. The colors are so super sweet. And I thought it looked really nice next to this little clock, which I found at the thrift store and repainted in this gorgeous blue-green color, which I absolutely love. I think this was maybe part of one of my very first thrift store makeover videos. I'll link it below if I can remember which one it is. And then I found this little cat not too long ago. I think she is so cute. I love her little colors, and it kind of goes really nicely with this little grouping right here. And then next to it I have this picture right here of some flowers that I took from ages ago. A friend of mine gave me these flowers for my birthday, so I took a nice picture of them, and now I have something to display, which I think is really fun. So next to the flowers, I have this little sugar creamer floral arrangement, which I just put together with odds and ends of flowers that I have. And then next to that, I have this framed print from an old Bambi book, and I absolutely love it. You know how much I love the deer and Bambi, and look, there's even a thumper down there, which is so adorable. So yeah, I just thought this picture in and of itself was so cute, so I framed it up and put it up here. And then I have this little guy. This is a little bell. There we go. Maybe you can see that a little better now. The sun's not shining on it. I found this, I can't remember, at the thrift store a while back, and I just thought it was super cute. So I've got her sitting up right here. She's got like a little flower hat. I think it's just adorable. And then moving on into the wall itself, I found this wood cutout of Wisconsin years ago at the thrift store. I decoupaged a Wisconsin map on top of it. I painted the edges, distressed them. I just think it's cute. It's kind of like homage, to my home state, which I think is cool. I found these enamelware numbers years ago. I think I have 4 of them. And the number 5 is always a nice number for me, because that's how many people I have in my family. So I hung that up there as well. This picture makes me smile so much. I don't know if too many people know this, but this is a little sewing kit from the old grocery store called Red Owl. They had them in my hometown when I was growing up, and all the cool high schoolers worked at Red Owl when I was like, preteen or whatever. So I don't know, it was just like the place to go. And I found this at, I think Junk Bonanza or something like that. It actually, if you open it up, it is a sewing kit. It's got like thread and needles and stuff inside of it. But I just thought it was fun, so I framed it up and put it on the wall. And I just love it so much. It makes me smile when I look at it. And then this right here is so cute. I have had this for years. I found it at a thrift store, and I absolutely love it. It's kind of like one of those touristy things. It says Ashland Wisconsin on it. But I just loved it because it has got the cute little deer on it. And it says, please leave a note. And if you open it up, it's got like a place for a pencil, and then you can put a little notepad in there, which I think is so adorable. This open spot right here is supposed to have this adorable little plate, which I found at the thrift store, but it reminds me, we had a set of plates like this when I was a kid, and we used to fight over these plates between my brother and sister, who got the bunny plate. So when I found this at the thrift store, I absolutely had to have it. But I do not have anything to hang it up with. I'm waiting to get to the store to find myself some 3M command strips, and then I'll get it hung up on the wall. So that's where that will go. And then off to the side here, I have this little like faux garden gate thing that I found at the thrift store not too long ago, and I have some fun little things put on that. The first thing I put on was this cute little Thinking of You card, which I found at a flea market. I got a whole box of cards, and this was one of them that was in it. I love this one for the pretty flowers and the little bluebird on it. I just thought that was really cute. And then I have a picture of my current fur babies down here. And then I also have this picture of Shelby Girl and I snuggling when we still had Shelby Girl. Oh, I love Shelby Girl. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little way to display some photos of them. And then finally, underneath the shelf, I have these two items right here. This is actually from Target. I loved the print at Target probably a couple of years ago at this point. I like the house, and I love the little bulldog in the front yard. And then I have this little guy right here, which doesn't have anything on him right now. But I'm looking for some little things to put on the little shelves. But for now, it used to be just a regular wood color. I painted it up, distressed it, and then added some distressed looking cardstock to the back, which I think is a kind of a fun little touch. And I just added that in with Mod Podge, and I think it turned out really cute. Plus, I mean, even if I never find anything to put on it, I think it's just kind of a cute little thing. Alright, so moving on to the top section, or the top shelf, we'll start with this Smokey the Bear poster. Oh my goodness, isn't this amazing? I just love it so much. I actually found a whole folder of like Smokey the Bear things at a church sale like 2 years ago. And this was inside of it, and I thought it was so awesome. So I hung that up there because I don't know about you guys, but I love me some Smokey the Bear. And then on the shelf over here, this is just another photo that I took of my peonies one year, and I just love the picture, so I framed it up. And then I have this little bunny. I found this at the thrift store. He's in a little rough shape, but he's kind of cute and quirky. So I added them up there. And then I found this little squeaky toy. It's a little lamb. I've had this forever and a day. I can't even remember when I got it or where I got it from. I think I got it at the thrift store. On the bottom it says 1956. So I don't know. I just think it's cute, and it does squeak. A little bit. I love that. And then of course right next to it I have a picture of my Shelby girl. Look at her. Oh, isn't she just the sweetest? This is a picture taken the very first week that we brought her home. She's so adorable. And then next to that is this little Smokey the Bear. Friends don't play with matches, or Smokey's friends don't play with matches. And it's just kind of like a little, I don't know, pamphlet or something like that. So I thought that was super cute. That was in that packet of Smokey the Bear things that I found. And then next to that is a picture that I took of this old car that is in the shed next to my mom's property. I thought it was a cool looking car. I love the color of it. So I took a picture of it, and now I have it hung up here. Alright, so then next to that I have this little bulldog Piggy Bank. I think it came from Target Dollar Spot. I'm not sure, but I know I got it at the thrift store. I think I remember seeing them there a few years ago. I just thought it was really cute. And then next to that I have a picture of Finny Baby. This was taken the first week that we had her. Look at how tiny she is. Oh my goodness. I just love that picture. Then this next to that is a little, I don't know, framed thing that I made. I hand painted like the little quilt design on it. and I like the colors, so I put that up there. And then finally over here on the shelf is a page from a Cinderella book, a vintage Cinderella book, which I bought at the thrift store, which was in really bad condition. But the reason why I have it up here is because when my oldest daughter was like 2 or 3, she absolutely loved the Cinderella movie. And she would call it Cinderella, and we thought it was the cutest thing ever, and she would watch it all the time. So whenever I see this picture, that reminds me of her at that time. So I just think that is so sweet. So that is why I have that up here as well. So then I have this bookshelf, which was actually my grandmother's. I have since repainted it, and we've used it for many different things over the years. But I have confiscated it to use as display space down in my area here. And on top of it, I have some fun things that I absolutely love. I have this little, what do you call it? Wooden cabin, which reminds me of going to the cabin and having fun outdoors. I love it. Then I've got this little deer. I think she's so cute. And then over here, I have an old Fisher-Price school, which I used to play with for hours and hours and hours when I was younger. This is not the original one that we have, but it's the one that my mom picked up when my kids were little, and so she gave it to me, which I am very grateful for. And then we have this shelf right here. This is a recent purchase which I found. This is the house that I always wanted when I was a little kid. I always wanted the Fisher-Price house. I had friends that had it, but I never had one. I had, like the camping thing and the car ramp. I had a whole bunch of things, but we just never got the house. So when I saw this at the thrift store, I'm like, I'm totally getting it. And then I brought out this little adorable teapot, which I actually bought a long time ago to resell. But I've recently, I haven't been selling anything, so I got it out because I absolutely love the colors on it, so I thought I might as well use it. Then I have this framed thing back here. It has an old, Learn to Read With Me book, which I learned to read with when I was a kid. This was my favorite book, Luke the Bear, and he went on a little adventure, and I just love it so much. So I've got just the cover of it. It pretty much has been disintegrated. It's all fallen apart. So I kept the cover, and I have it framed up, and I think that's really cute. This little guy I found at the thrift store. It's a piggy bank. I have no idea. I cannot read the bottom. It says Wanakee and the bank or something like that. I don't know. The girls think it is scary looking. It kind of is. But I love the colors. I thought it was kind of cool. Then I have this little bowl here with some little stars on it, which I put those pictures. Remember how I talked about the little book of photos that I picked up? This is it. It's of the Canadian Rockies. And then, so I have it just kind of sitting in this bowl along with another little photo of the mountains. I think that is really fun. The next shelf down, I have a collection of my little dog figures, which I have found over the years that I love so much. In the background, I have a book. It is called Betsy in Spite of Herself. It is by Maud Hart Loveless. There is a whole Betsy series that when I was a young, teenager, preteen, I absolutely loved that series. And to this day, I still reread them every now and then. So those are my favorite books, and I love this one's cover is the best, so I decided to display this one because, of course, it's got the red on it. But yeah, I love those books, and I am so excited. They just kind of give me a little, memories when I have it sitting there and I see it. I found this toy. I found this toy telephone a long time ago. So I thought I'd add that to the mix. And then back here is a book called Popcorn, which was my youngest daughter's favorite book when she was a little kid. And then over here is a recent planter that I found. I just added some flowers to that and added it to the mix. I think it's so cute. And then down here on the bottom, or next shelf down, I have these cute little salt and pepper shakers. I absolutely love them. I found them at the thrift store. I have a little floral arrangement in a milk glass container. Another hotel bell And then back here I have How Joe the Bear and Sam the Mouse Got Together. That was my absolute favorite book when I was a child, and my mom was gracious enough to give it to me. And then I have these adorable deer bookends I found at the thrift store a while ago, or maybe it was a flea market. I can't remember. It might have been a flea market. So I'm using these adorable bookends to hold up some of my favorite kids' books. I've got like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm and like early reader books, stuff like that. And then you can see on the bottom shelf, this is part of my old book collection. Not all of it. They're stacked in there pretty good. But I just needed a place to display some of them, so I have them here. And then, of course, I have this adorable little kids scooter toy, which I absolutely love. He is one of my favorite things. So I just have him sitting here in front of the shelves. So that is what I have been doing here in my craft area. I love how it turned out. I know this kind of jumbled together look is not for everyone, but for me, I absolutely love it. I wanted to make myself surrounded by things that I loved and that induced memories, and this is doing the trick for me, and I absolutely love it. I think it is a fun place to be, and I like it a lot. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it wasn't too long and chatty for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye now.